Thought impulses mixed with emotion are acted upon more readily than thought impulses originating in cold reason. Napoleon Hill. Directly from Think and Grow Rich. If you ain't read it, read it soon. What this means is that when you develop an idea and you have a thought from the feeling state of something that's already created, you're much more likely to act on it and bring it to fruition. You're much more likely to see that it actually happens rather than when you just come up with an idea and you think about it for 10 seconds or 10 minutes. You see, when you fully begin to wrap your mind around it and you wrap your emotional mind around whatever the idea is, that is when it becomes living. That is when you breathe life into it. The act of visualization, the act of meditation, the act of putting energy into something more than just thinking about it. You see, there's a logical side of things, and then there's the emotional side of things and the energetic side of things. The way we begin to look at something and really bring it to life. It is up to us to depend. It depends on us and how we do it, right? Because many of you might have been in the situation before where you had a great idea. You thought of something cool that could change someone's life, change the world maybe, or at least change your life, right, in some simple way. Yet if you don't act on it, or if you don't act on it soon enough, well, it fades and it's not something as important as it was before. I know I've been through this several times. But as I go into this path of visualization, of really being one with an idea, really mixing my own energetic emotion with the idea, that is when I see it come to fruition. That is when I realize the reality that has that outcome. That is when the thought becomes more than just a thought. That is when you really see and tap into the reality, the alternate reality, where that thought has already came to fruition. But you must be willing to take the time to learn how to develop emotional control enough to be able to put emotion into an idea and to create that sense, create that deeper awareness around the idea. Because think about it, what do you do if you just think about an idea? If you don't even journal it, let's say. You just think of an idea. Like, imagine if Steve Jobs or Steve Wozniak, whatever, the team that was, never thought of or never put anything on paper about Apple. What if any of the great inventors of all time never put anything on paper? They just thought about it. They just thought about it for some time. Nothing would have gotten done. No, these guys actually took the time to put it on paper. They took the time to experiment. They took the time to begin wrapping their mind around the facets of it and how it would work and, all these different things within it. Again, experimenting with it. So I ask you, what are you experimenting with in your life? What are you taking the time to develop and put emotion into? What are you taking the time to actually bring to fruition? Because we get so stuck in our familiar reality, we think that there is no change. We think that even if we have a great idea, we're not capable of bringing it to life. We tried with all these other ideas. Why is it possible? What's different now? Brother, it's up to you to make the difference now. That's all. It's up to you. You must work with the universe, work with God, and be more of that individual who creates the reality. But you got to start within. You got to start within and work on the idea, work on putting life, putting emotion into the idea, mixing it well with that emotion so it can actually come to fruition quicker and much more lively. So many of us, again, have great ideas, but we never do anything with them. We have these negative emotions that hold us back, these negative emotions that when we think of that idea, it shoots it down. It puts it back in the storehouse where it stays. It ends up in the grave many times. It ends up in the grave many times. Are you willing to take the time to develop the emotional control to be able to breathe life into an idea? Choosingly. Because we all do this. We just do it in ways that we don't mean to. Say in our relationship. We create issues in our relationship because we're used to a certain standard in the relationship. So we always bring ourselves and our relationships back to that standard. Even if it's a bad standard. You're so used to feeling a certain way, even if it's negative, that you create the situations to make that happen. Your emotional standpoint is mixed with the ideas that you have to have it this certain standardized way. Because that's the way it is, that's the way it's meant to be. Even if it's negative, even if you're not thinking this consciously, it's very easy to do. I've done it, everybody does it. We just don't realize that we're doing it. So when you become a true creator and you begin to get out of your own way and give yourself to the world, you develop that process of being able to mix emotion well with a thought that could change lives, that could change the world, that could change something in a great way. You begin to put space in between your thoughts and yourself, first of all, as well, because you want to differentiate between the good thoughts and the bad thoughts, the creative thoughts and the destructive thoughts. Which thoughts are going to hold you back? Which thoughts are going to help you? Which thoughts are going to create a better reality for you or your family or anybody? And which ones have been there for a long time that are going to continue to bring you down? Mix those emotions with thoughts that you actually want to see in your life, not the opposite. You got this, guys.